What is going on, everybody? Welcome into the Tuesday Track Talk podcast, episode number 116, coming at you, recording live on a Tuesday. I am your gas man, Cam.
I'm your jack man, Cal.
I'm your tire changer, Cam.
And sometimes when you delay or postpone your podcast, there's still stuff to talk about. And it's kind of fitting we're delayed and postponed here, recording on a Tuesday, and we still can talk about the Clash. So we're going to talk some news in the racing world, and then we're going to jump into talking a little bit about the Clash. But the big topic is just going to be, in the racing world, what do you do when a situation comes up like this? Rain, weather, all things, I don't know what you want to call it.
The trickle effect.
Yeah. And just talk about what we think is, since we're super knowledgeable and experts in this category, what we should do, or our opinions on just delaying the race, postponing it, rescheduling, just our thoughts on that. So, another loaded episode for you. Going to be a fun one. Got the band back together, and we're ready to rock and roll here in 2026 with racing season. Feels like, honestly, like that whole Denny Hamlin situation, losing the championship. Honestly, it feels like 3 or 4 weeks ago. I don't know about you guys. Like, it does not feel that long ago. And dude's strapping back into a car, getting ready to rock and roll again. So, but before we get into it, how we doing, boys?
Not too bad. We'll probably talk about it here a little bit later, but I'm looking at the schedule, especially for starting tomorrow. It's going to get busy.
Well, the nice part is come the end of the week here, we have the World Series getting fired up. So basically Thursday night through the middle of next week or middle end of next week, you can watch New Smyrna racing, and they got, what did they say, 220 plus cars down there entered across all their divisions. So anything from modifieds to late models to super late models to pro trucks to sprint cars, I think, too, one night maybe.
They got modifieds there. You've got, if you're talking flow racing, you got USAC at Volusia and Ocala. You also got the World of Outlaws at Volusia this week as well.
Yep. But yeah, New Smyrna's got a whole boatload of race cars entered down there, so that'll kind of be it'll be back to just when you get home at night, we can get back to watching our regularly scheduled programming.
Yep.
So,
otherwise,
we need it to warm up a little bit.
See, but and I don't know how much snow you guys got down there. I'm starting to see grass.
Not us.
Yeah, I'm starting to see grass up here.
Not us.
I don't necessarily care about that. I guess I saw a stat today that over the next, in February, we gained 77 minutes of daylight. That is what I'm pumped about. Sick and tired of this dark at 4:30 junk.
Okay, but we had that little rodent that crawls out and tells us what's going to go on.
Yeah, if he keeps pulling stunts like that, he's going to find himself in an air fryer
or a crock pot. Potatoes and a thing of beef broth and a few chopped up carrots and an onion, and we'll be having dinner.
Pawtucket Phil.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like you're starting to get to the light of the tunnel, because I feel like February is always a blink of an eye. February is a short month, and all of a sudden you're into March, and then it's like, oh boy, here we go. Weather's getting longer. Get into March, you got your springing forward for those that participate in daylight savings time, and then all of a sudden it's like bang bang.
I mean, February is only 3 weeks.
I know, March is right around the corner. We're gonna be springing on forward. So, yeah, we'll be in the full swing of racing things. So, let's stop talking random stats. And let's cover some news. We got a full gamut of news as racing season is fully picking up here. Like we said, racing schedules picking up, and with that comes news, seats, track, everything getting solidified. So, kick it off to the Jackman. We'll let him rock and roll first here.
Yeah, Jesus, I got to get it together. The first couple bits of news, we're gonna go ahead and talk some asphalt, super late model racing. Donnie Wilson, they kind of put out that the ASA Stars National Tour puts out that Donnie Wilson's back in the Platinum program. They had 2 car numbers but no drivers. We come to find out a day or two later, Donnie Wilson announces that Jada Vidician is going to be one of their drivers, and then George Phillips, he'll be back with them as well. So those two will be running with them. Basically, they're going to be ASA Stars National Tour and Southern Super Series for the most part, as they kind of coincide. So that is when we look at the Platinum program for them. A couple other Platinum program announcements that were made: Derek Kraus, and then Tristan McKee with the Richie Waters deal. They have signed up for the Platinum program for 2026. So 2 more names there that have committed to the national tour for 2026. In some late model stock news, just today, middle of the day or so, Connor Jones joins Carroll Speed Shop for the full Cars Tour late model stock schedule in 2026. So he'll be running the full Cars Tour schedule. And then Henninger Racing also announces that Chase Burrow will run a full late model stock schedule as well for them, as they put together their late model stock program that they had, and it kind of went away, and now it's back. So that's asphalt late model news in both the stocks and the super lates.
And we're gonna stay on the asphalt. I'm taking this next section here, going into a little bit of the NASCAR series. A local guy here for us, Luke Fenhouse, super late model guy, and had a fair share of races last year in the Thor Sport, one of Thor Sport trucks. He is going to make his O'Reilly Series debut with Henninger Racing, who is also making their series racing debut. So I think he's going to be officially announced. He's going to be rocking. I think he's going to be in the number 5 machine.
Yep.
Local guy for us from Wisconsin, taking the leap to the next series. In some other news here, in the Xfinity Series, AM Racing makes their announcement here that the acquisition by Sigma Performance that was announced in November was not finalized, and they will race independently in the O'Reilly Series with driver and team announcement to come. So, kind of a little bit of a surprise, I guess, the way that, I don't know, felt like came out of nowhere. The last we heard was in the off season that they were sold, and then obviously something clearly fell through here. Then they make the announcement that psych, they're coming back. So,
who's looking for a ride? Sanchez.
Yeah.
But AM, did they run did they run Toyotas or Fords last year?
Ford. Because they had Deegan 2 years ago, and then that fell apart, and then they filled it with Cup guys, and then
What did they have last year?
I thought they had Burton.
I thought they had Burton too, but I was like, there's no way Burton made the switch to, well, I guess that would make sense. He came from Ford. The old 21 camp. Yeah, I think it was Burton last year.
Yeah.
Anyways, then we're gonna jump over to the other NASCAR series, which, yeah, this series is gonna just make my head spin the entire year. Going to the truck series, it's gonna be a circus all year, straight up. We got John Hunter Nemechek hopping in the seat for Stuart Friesen Racing at Daytona. So let's get it rocking and rolling right away with the NASCAR Cup Series guys coming down to the Truck Series. So can't do it if you don't start early. So John Hunter Nemechek getting in the seat. Stuart Friesen Racing. Staying in that camp, or not in that camp, in that series, Andres Perez will drive the Nice 44 full time in the Truck Series. So Nice is starting to.
That truck will be contending for a title.
Yep. They're solidifying their lineup. And then right along with that, Carson Hocevar. He is going to be in the Spire 77 truck in the race at Daytona with IKEA and Best Buy sponsorships. So
you better hope that truck is nowhere near IKEA. You ever seen a piece of IKEA furniture? Shit will fall apart.
Yeah. So we'll have some thoughts here, I think, before we get into the season, do a series debut. We'll have some thoughts on just the state of the series and what's going on there. So the driver teams, the seats are slowly but surely, we are almost filling up our rosters here, almost complete here. So
yeah, really quick, kind of wrapping up the NASCAR news for the most part. Corey Heim, kind of a lot of questions about him. He'll attempt the Daytona 500 with 23:11 in their 67. Casey Mears enters the Daytona in the garage 66 entry. And then in kind of some other news, comedian, I believe, Nate Bargatze. Yeah, is the Grand Marshal for the Daytona 500. So if you know who he is, sweet. Good for you. That's a good deal for you. And then lastly, it's been rumored, and it's a lot of places kind of reported on it, but nothing was ever official. It is today now. The fall race at Charlotte was in the chase is officially back on the oval. So the Roval is no more temporarily. So we'll see. But the thing of it is the Roval is always there. So there you have it.
Yeah, and that's you can see the fair share of mixed emotions with that. Most of our things said great move, and then McDowell chimed in and said, not a great move. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Feels like we're kind of making a little bit of a shift back to a little bit more of the roots, and that is, for what it's worth, it is not. SVG said he was hired for the win and in format, and take away one of his, track that he's going to be a favorite at. So, yeah, fair share of guys that you not going to be thrilled with it, but good chunk of guys that are going to be thrilled with it. So, I'll take this next chunk here. Getting into some dirt super late models. They are back on the track. And Ashton Winger announces he will compete full-time with the Hunt the Front Super Dirt Series in 2026, following a campaign with the Woo Gang in 2025. So Winger is going to be hunting the front with that series in 26. Luke Morey is named the Coltman Farms development driver. Will run a regional schedule with a sponsorship from Coltman Farms in 2026. He was racing with Carson Brown in 2025. I believe he's going to be running the Coltman Farms 49 machine. So,
Yep,
you can be on the lookout for him. They've been teasing it, but becomes official last week. Hunt the Front announces they have purchased Southern Raceway. Like I said, it was kind of rumored for a while there, and they were kind of teasing some things on their socials, and it is official. So it will be interesting to see what Hunt the Front does. Kellen and I were just kind of chatting back and forth. They now officially have a track, a series, and a race team.
And the streaming to go with it.
I don't want to. Yeah, it is what it is, but I don't know. you're riding in a lot of directions. So you either got to hire really great people or something's got to give.
Yep.
And I don't know if it's uh, either got to have a lot of great people to be able to make it all go or something's got to give. So um,
Yep.
that will be interesting to see how they manage a race team, a track, and a series all in one. And then lastly, last but not least, on the top of Coleman Farms and Donald McIntosh have parted ways. So early in the year, but it better part ways sooner rather than later. So the Dirt Super Late Model seat becomes open.
I saw the article about that just to quickly expand on that. Interesting quote that was thrown in there was uh, trying to keep up wasn't going to be easy.
I
Who
know.
made that?
I kind of listened to the announcement from the owner of Coleman Farms, and he said to be competitive across the year, you need about $780,000. And he kind of felt like they weren't in a spot to be able to do that. And he said, "Why would both sides be miserable?"
Yeah.
Can't blame them, I guess. You know. So yeah, I don't know.
So while we're on that seat right away, for what it's worth, our good friend of the podcast, Race and Jason, on X.
You had a few names already out there.
Yeah, they're it's like when somebody gets fired, you're already throwing names. He's here in Owens Joiner, but he's thinking C right. So here we go. Let the speculation begin.
Yep.
Finally hitting some sprint car news here and then IndyCar. This has been speculated for a while and it finally came to fruition. Sheldon Haudenschild has made it official and he will be in the 18 KCP racing car with sponsors from NOS Energy, and they will be going on the World of Outlaws tour this year. Back again with the World Outlaws will be Conor Morrell. He officially announced that he'll be on the season. And then this was just announced earlier today. Chili Bowl winner Emerson Axum and KPM are going World Outlaw racing as well. So I believe that puts it at 17 full-time World Outlaw guys this year.
Yep.
I'm double checking that from.
I did see that on X because somebody I saw put a prediction out that they thought at this time we'd have 15 committed, and they said I saw something that said 17 committed.
Yep. Master Gasser is the one that said that.
Yep.
So, and then finally in some sprint car news, High Limit has announced some rule changes for 2026. The most notable ones here, their single file restart will be a cone in turn 4 versus the cone on the front stretch.
Yep.
The only guaranteed time in the work area will be for flat tires. So any other work area activities will not have guaranteed time and will be banking on the restart. And then series provisionals will be limited to 2 per race. The order of eligibility will be based on current season's owner point standings. Yeah, that's it for notable rule changes for them. And then in IndyCar news, President Trump signed an executive order this week or last week. I forget which one it was. Last week, to bring IndyCar to the streets of Washington, D.C. The race will be called the Freedom 250 and will be free to attend for the public. Course configuration to be determined, but it'll be on August 28th, I believe, is what the date was. Maybe 23rd.
Yeah, somewhere in late August. Yeah.
Yep. And then finally in IndyCar news, Tim Cindric has been announced to be coming back to Team Penske as a strategist for Scott McLaughlin this season. Which obviously he was booted from the team as president after the cheating situation at the beginning of the year last year.
Yep.
So it just kind of odd, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, very interesting.
So
I mean, the hate to say this, but if you're good enough at your job, people will always find a way to.
oh yeah.
Yep.
So, two other one-offs that we were going to make that we didn't have on here, but first off, the lawsuit between 2311 and Front Row is, I think, we're officially settled.
Yep.
So this hopefully should
Yeah.
be the last podcast you ever hear lawsuit.
Yep.
Let's put that in the rearview mirror. And then forgot to touch on this one. In the old Circus series, Dario Franchitti is he's going to make his return to NASCAR in a one-off appearance at St. Petersburg. So, I mean, it's absolutely insane what this series has got going on right now.
3-time Indy 500 champ.
Yeah, I'm just going to see if I can find one stat here quick.
He's made one previous start in the Truck Series, and I believe it was at Richmond.
Give me just one quick second. I got to look one thing up.
Well, I'd say he raced Xfinity for, I know a year for sure, and I don't remember if it was a second or not.
Yep. But yeah, I believe he had one previous truck start, but yeah. So and then kind of this is all rumor again, this is kind of swirling around a little bit, so take it for what it's worth. But one of these NASCAR accounts or parody NASCAR accounts claimed that Cletus McFarland's going to try to run the truck race at Daytona. Hasn't been enough.
Don't put that up. Don't put that out there.
Mm.
That was like NASCAR Sentinel.
Yeah, but they also called correctly Andres Perez going to the 44 at Nice.
As you guys can tell, we are in the complete spin zone with some of these pages that we follow. So some of them we swat like flies and we know they're fake, but then they keep coming back when they actually do get one right. So I guess I should back off a little bit here.
And they tweeted in December that Andres Perez was going to Nice. Well, we're talking about it this week.
Yeah. Here I found the tweet I was looking for. This is why I'm going to start calling it the Circus Series. The Craftsman Truck Series is going to be officially the Circus Series this year because we got Xfinity guys, we got Cup guys, we got this colleague truck that could probably spend a whole episode talking about colleague. But in the truck series, we've got 3 confirmed drivers to return to the truck series in 2026 after 15 plus years away from the trucks. So Tony Stewart's been away for 20 years, 8 months and 10 days. Bobby Gearhart has been away for 19 years, 9 months and 16 days. Dario's been away for 18 years, 4 months and 8 days. And Jimmy Johnson away for 17 years, 9 months and 30 days. So
I'm just telling you, just wait with this rotating colleague truck because they're going to be pulling some guys out of the weeds that you're going to go, oh boy, he did race in NASCAR, and oh boy, he's back. Just you wait.
Yeah.
And you know, I tell you what, I watched that most recent episode of that Ram Race for the Seat. Greg Biffle when he was alive yet, was a part of that episode and walked all these guys through the Hall of Fame. I can promise you, if he was still alive, he'd be in that seat. And I bet you they are trying to find someone to fill that seat for the race he was scheduled. He was like the host of that episode, pretty much.
Yeah.
So I guarantee he'd have raced it. So I don't know. It's going to be wild.
Yeah. So, like I said, I mean, like this, we're coming up to official start season here. So, on the NASCAR side of things, drivers and seats are going to be, I mean, you got to get this stuff solidified here soon. So, last couple seats should be solidified soon. And then, on the dirt side, whether it's sprint cars, late models, you name it, it can be solidified, but we already got a driver swap before the season even started. So I feel like on the dirt side, it can be silly season all year round for them guys. So we will stay tuned. Now give us something to talk about every week. So, and then let's move on to talk a little bit about the Clash. Obviously, we are recording on Tuesday, February 3rd, and the Clash has not happened. It was originally slated to run the first portion of it on Saturday. I believe it was January 31st. Then the race was supposed to be Sunday, February 1st. And then moved everything that was going to be to Sunday. And then was the first rescheduled to Monday.
Yep.
And then now we're officially to Wednesday. So that brings us to the much anticipated topic that we're going to talk about today. Is just our thoughts on, because this happens all around the world. You guys have been a fair share of it. It feels like every time you guys go to a race, it's probably about a 50-50 shot the show gets in due to my nature. So we're going to talk about, what do we think is the move? Is the most important thing getting the event in, whether it's a day, 2 days later? Is it rescheduling it? Is it delaying as long as you can into the night? What do we do? So let's put you two in the track promoter seat and event promoter, whatever you want to call it, track owner. And what are we doing?
Well, first things first, like, we're racing on Saturday, right? That's the original date. That's what was scheduled. Here we are on Saturday, or even Friday for thinking about it. Even then, if I'm a promoter, like we saw this with, what was it, the Southern Super Series Speedfest race?
Yep.
Guys were like, DJ, he had to leave for merchandise on Wednesday night to start making his way down there.
Yep.
They canceled it on Wednesday after, or postponed it on Wednesday afternoon with that winter storm system that rolled through. So, I mean, even from promoter perspective, like, you got to start looking, I'm going to say, the week of. What's the weather forecast look like? Am I going to have an extreme weather situation? Got to take into account where guys are traveling to and from, and situations like that too.
Well, and I think even with that, when you look at it, it is interesting, because even like last summer when I was down at Hawkeye for the Midwest Truck Series, and they had a very, like, the radar had stuff, but it didn't, but it was really windy and dusty, and it was kind of picking stuff up, but it was raining and there was nothing on the radar. And then it just, like, it kind of warps a little bit too. So you always kind of find, every once in a while, you get one of those real weird situations that it just, even the radar doesn't really do it justice with that. But I think when you can make a call early enough, because let's be honest, you're going to have drivers or teams calling
Yep.
on Friday afternoon. Hey, my stuff's loaded and I'm ready to go. What are the chances we're racing tomorrow? Because I'm not going to haul all my stuff all the way there and not unload my race car and haul back. All right. Like, okay, if we're going to do that, are we going to race on a Sunday? Like, what are the odds of that show getting in from the get-go? No, I think when you look at it from a weekly standpoint, there's a couple ways you can look at it, right? Do you have a rain date available? You have a built-in rain date that you can go, yep, all right, we're not going to race this weekend because we know we have a built-in rain date or two that we can shuffle to. Great.
Yep.
Perfect. That's another avenue that will keep your event sponsors happy, right? Because at the end of the day, you still have events that these guys or companies or individuals are sponsoring for their promotion of themselves, right? But the tricky part begins when you start to get into delays, and we've seen this a fair amount of times with noise ordinances.
Yep.
Those become very tricky because the noise ordinance is a hard 10 o'clock. Well, if I start my feature at 9:30 and we get a slew of wrecks or we get a one bad one, now what do I do? Am I the bad guy with the neighborhood, or am I going to pull the pin at 10 o'clock and say, all right, we're done? Do you move it to tomorrow? You know what I mean? Like, that's another piece of it, too. And I think looking at legislation, not getting political in this whatsoever, but looking at legislation,
Oh yeah, Poli- politician Kel coming out here.
but states have gone to having legislation passed that if you move in after the racetrack already existed, you have no grounds to complain about the noise, the dust, the traffic, whatever else. So we're seeing a trend where these places are starting to be more protected, that is not a thing, but you kind of get stuck between you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
One of the things, and you mentioned like with the weekly side of things, and I was not around for this particular instance, but when you get a touring series at like the World Outlaws and they go to Angel Park. Angel Park is one of those facilities that they have a very like it is a I think it's 10 o'clock. It might even be 9 o'clock. Either way, it's a very if it's this o'clock and I'm running race cars, we're done.
Yeah.
And they had whatever kind of a delay happen in that race. They didn't get that feature in because they didn't get to that time
Yeah.
ultimately. Whereas, Dells, I think their ordinance is specifically as long as the feature starts before X time, they
Yeah.
can run that feature.
Yeah.
The delay thing too is like, all right, can we right if there's no ordinance, how long is my delay? And I think there's two scenarios, and I experienced one of them last year was Grundy going down there, which first off, that's a haul for us. So we did that to ourselves. Um, they had wind and then a small cell come through with rain. They could dry the track off, but do you know if you're going to get another one of those systems or not?
Yeah.
And if you're not, and you don't have a noise ordinance issue, all right, let's run it.
Yeah.
Let's cut some of the program to keep it short still, but let's run it.
Well, and that's where, depending on, and I think when you talk about touring series, right? I think when you start to look at those, especially with a delay, you get a rain shower, you go, all right, okay, we're gonna qualify, we're gonna axe heat races, we're gonna go qualifying last chance feature.
Yep.
And depending on what your classes are, if you only have two or three classes, it makes that very easy. But and we've seen that done a fair share around here as well with different series. And it's all right, we're gonna do what we can tonight. We're gonna try to get this in at a reasonable time. We're gonna take care of our drivers. And when you start to think about it, you got to think about the driver that's got the furthest haul home.
Yep.
It's not the guy going a half an hour down the road. It's the guy that's going 4 hours down the road that's committed to run your series. What are we going to do? How are we going to take care of that guy, right? Because if he's happy, the guy half an hour down the road is really happy because he's home at a really good time.
Yep.
But no, it gets a little tricky because it's all right. Well, one, what does our car count look like? Do we have 40 or do we have 20? Can we qualify and line them straight up? Can we qualify and go with our invert and then go to our feature, right? And it just kind of depends on when you start to talk national touring series or the bigger series, the car count can influence that a ton too.
Yep.
How much, I guess this maybe probably a little bit more of a NASCAR conversation. But I guess how much weight do you guys put into fans? Because, a lot of times you get to these situations and it's like, for NASCAR, it's like, hey, we're running the race on, scheduled to start, let's just say most of them are Sunday at 3:30, 2:30 Central Standard Time. And, race is going to get done at 5 o'clock. Somebody, the average Joe is not, I don't know, you got your travel plans figured out. It's like, so I guess my question is, for us, like there's not really a NASCAR track super close to us. And so if we go, like if the race gets delayed another day, like you've got travel plans, whether you're flying, stuff like that. So it's like, I guess my question is, how much do you weigh the fans, um, and fan turnout? Is it, hey, the most important thing is to get this race in, this event in, whether there's 10 fans in, or let's try to find a rescheduled date where we can, open it. A lot of fans can reconfigure their travel plans.
I mean, I think
I guess where do you I guess ultimately where do you put fans on your list on your pecking order? Is it towards the bottom? Is it towards the top? Like, because that you got your priorities. If you're looking at rescheduling an event, like where do you're going to have your priorities. Obviously, like you said, priority A is probably going to be drivers and teams. But yeah, I guess I got those two questions for you.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, we've seen it with NASCAR, and I think we got to keep them out of this conversation because keeping the clash aside, right? For any other race weekend in the normal schedule, they'll race on Monday.
Yep.
Whether fans are there or not, right? They're racing Monday regardless. The track will maybe come out and do some kind of yeah, if you can't make it, we'll refund you your tickets, try and help you out as best we can, offer you another race that we have got here coming up, season package wise, right? But in terms of the NASCAR, right, we're running on a Monday regardless. When you get to around here, some of that situation I think plays out. And one race that kind of jumps into mind because it never freaking fails. They always get rain in some way, shape, or form. Slinger Nationals.
Nationals. Yep.
Yep. So it's you like Kellen, for you example, right? Like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe, you had to work. So you went home.
Yep.
I build in an extra day just in case.
Yep.
But that's how I schedule my vacation that way.
Yep.
So is it the most productive, right? Day after? No, but I build in that bank. But I think to answer your question, I ultimately I don't think are fans important? Yes. But it's not the number one priority. The number one priority is can I get my event in? Can I please my sponsors? And how is it going to affect my long-term season or for a special event like that? I need to get this race in. Snowball Derby is another good example. We postponed all the support divisions to what? Tuesday, I think.
Correct.
Yep.
And then ran the Snowball Derby.
Yep.
Another question off of that. If, you're starting to look at forecast, because I feel like you two particularly, since you guys are more frequent flyers, I feel like every time you two are, I feel like 75% of the time you guys are like, yeah, we're going to go to this race together. Ma Nature is tagging along with you guys. My question to you guys is, so, Snowball Derby gets into it can be an example too. Do you let everybody come to the track with a chance of weather and say, we're going to try to get this in and figure it out? Or do you look at the radar and you're like, you know what? It's not looking good. We're moving everything right away. Because I feel like a lot of times, you guys particularly, you guys catch yourself in a jiffy. You guys drove down for High Limit at, was it Davenport? You guys drove down there.
Yep.
Ma Nature gets down there. You guys hang around. You got to see some drivers, talk to them. They just keep telling you, yep, we're going to try to get this in, whatever. with when you're looking at the forecast, would you rather have an event say, you know what, we're going to try our damnedest to get it in, or would you rather say, you know what, forecast looks good or doesn't look good, we're moving it right off the get go? Because I mean, you guys drove down a good chunk of time for that, and that's for no racing.
I can appreciate. I look for two things. One, I want a track to acknowledge that they know about the weather.
Did you guys get refunded?
Yes.
You did?
We actually had the money. We had the money back in our account prior to even being back at the apartment. It was an hour and 28-minute drive.
Yep.
That's how efficient High Limit was.
Yep. I want a track or a series to acknowledge the weather. Hey, we know the weather doesn't look good. Here's our situation. And that's where they come in and say, hey, we're gonna either yes, we are racing, or B, and this is where I really think this is good. Here's our hard line of this is when we're making a decision.
Yep.
At 2 o'clock Central Time, we are making a decision. That way I can be here at 2 o'clock with my shoes on, keys in hand, and when 2 o'clock comes and that pulse goes, I know either A, I'm getting in the car and going, or B, I'm taking it off, I'm staying home.
Yep. So kind of a couple, I'm gonna go back a little bit, Cam, to your recent question about, what's your priority list when you talk about fans, right? So when I think about it, a couple things come to mind. One, who's running? What series do I have at my racetrack? And I say that with the idea of not that money doesn't matter, not that fan turnout doesn't matter for certain series, but some are going to be more dependent on that than others. And I say that with the idea of if you have a guy if you have your weekly crew that runs with you, most times if you have to make a late decision, there's going to be a pretty good chance that next week they're probably still going to come back and race with you. The bigger series, when they come around, that becomes the conversation of, okay, we are going to be a little less dependent on fan turnout and more so on the series ourselves. And I say this with the idea of in the middle of June, we are going to have a prime example of how this is going to shake out for us up here. Tuesday after Slinger with the ASA Stars National Tour at Madison.
Yep.
That is going to be my test of it's the National Tour coming to Madison on a Tuesday in the middle of June. What does my fan turnout look like? That's the one that I think. Now, some of the bigger tours, I think they're a little less. Now, are they going to draw more fans naturally because of names and drivers and crews and teams? Yes. But I think they're a little less dependent on it where your weekly, I think the fan engagement and the fan attendance now starts to creep up the totem pole a little bit in that priority order, being butts and seats are what's going to keep this place open every week. So when I think about it, right, like at the end of the day, like let's go back 2 years ago when we got pissed on at Cedar Lake.
Yep.
They knew the rain was coming. They knew it was coming. You could see in the horizon. It was a black wall coming at you. They put those cars out on the racetrack and said, we're going to try to do it. And as soon as it started raining, everyone bolted. That was the last you heard of it. Rain shortened. Here's your winner. We packed our shit and out the door they went. Right? Like,
yep.
Now I think when you start to get smaller, you start to go to your local racetrack where, all right, we're gonna do this. We're gonna take care of our guys. We're gonna take care of our people that are committed to us. And if you can take care of your drivers that keep coming back, they are going to bring the fans with them naturally. So I think the pecking order kind of shuffles a little bit depending on who you are. So that's kind of where I when I go back to that. And I think this national tour deal at Madison on a Tuesday is going to be, that to me is going to be a real test of national tour on a Tuesday at Madison in late model country, right?
And if we get rain,
What do you do?
what's your plan? Yep.
Because they're going Sunday, Tuesday. Sunday at Slinger, Tuesday at
Madison.
Madison. If you get rain on Sunday, what are we doing?
Yep.
It's going to be interesting, but that's going to be my test.
The other thing too is like the importance of the race. And I guess not importance, but prestige, right? I'm gonna take Davenport, for example. Their racing on Tuesday. I don't remember where they were going afterwards, but part of the schedule, drivers got to get to and from where they got to go.
Yep.
Davenport, okay, yep, that's not a call they want to make, but it's an easy call to make. Yep, we're gonna cancel. And we're gonna move on with our days. If you're talking like, all right, now we're talking Knoxville Nationals, we're talking Eldora, we're talking, some of them bigger shows. Now, given that's a Wednesday through Saturday, so you have a Sunday as a bank, but that's why you build that for that bank.
Yep.
Those midday shows, like for some of those high limit Tuesday shows, they canceled a good number of those. Some of they rescheduled to make, I think Kokomo, it was only a Saturday show later in the year where they made it a Friday Saturday show to make
Yep.
up for it. So I think that's got something to do with it too. It's just prestige of a race.
Yeah.
Where it is, you got sponsorship and money and stuff like that going on.
Yeah. That's what I think. I think when we talked about it, obviously you said it earlier, the last 2 years, it's been the last forever since the inception of the event with the Slinger Nationals, right? Look at the money to win the event on top of the lap money that's donated from the fans or businesses that are at the racetrack. Actually, it can match the event purse, right?
Yep.
So when you look at those, and I think that's where you start to go, okay, oh, what do we got to do to get this in? What is our hard? Okay, we're going to make this happen situation or scenario.
So that brings up a scenario too. Again, Slinger Nationals. I hate to bash on this because this is their one downfall, but they never rush the program when they know weather's coming, especially later in the night.
Dude, we had talked about it the last 2 years. It sprinkled during practice one afternoon. That was 2 years ago. It sprinkled during practice. And they backed up practice and they kept practicing. And it's like, axe a half an hour of practice and let's get this baby going.
Or let's move the feature time up a little bit like we had last year.
Yeah.
Let's get the feature time rolled up so that way we could beat the rain.
And then you're sitting in the car at 9 o'clock waiting for the rain to quit. And now the race is picking up again at 11 o'clock.
So that adds another wrinkle to this now. A property that we forgot to mention, TV.
Yeah.
You got TV commitments. The Clash probably had an issue with this, so I think it got remedied. But, right, Fox has got programming they want to run on Wednesday nights. So do you now keep it on Fox? Do you move to FS1, which I think it stayed on Fox? But, Slinger Nationals, they got to run Flow, right? They have a commitment to Flow of running at this time.
Yep.
So you got TV you got to worry about too. But that's the advantage that maybe you have on Flow or Dirt Vision versus cable programming or TV, right? You could, right? It's a stream. You can kind of run when you want.
Yeah, they're contracted to cover those events, and if there's a race car going to run to finish that event, their little camera in the corner is going to say live.
Yep.
That's what they're contracted to do.
Yep.
So, and I think the good part about that, right, is some of the bigger events you have some more nationally known crews that come in to cover the event. But at the end of the day, if those tracks have streaming services that they have agreements with, that Flow broadcast for the Slinger Nationals really was not. It was a big deal, yes, but Flow is the Slinger Weekly broadcasting booth. So infrastructure-wise,
yep,
that is not earth-shattering to them as that broadcast is at that track every Sunday afternoon.
Yep.
So, yeah.
I guess, and here's I guess where the frustrating part is, and I know there's probably a million different scenarios that can play out. and it's hard to prepare for all of them. But I just feel like the most frustrating part comes in as a fan is when there's just this like you're in limbo. And it's like it's
How about the
let's
Prairie
here's the
Classic, PDC?
Cool.
and for me it's like as a fan, let's just make a decision and go. If we're gonna try to get the event in, let's try. And after if we can't get it in, it is what it is. Or it's not gonna work. Here's the rescheduled date. I think the frustrating part as a fan can be is just like when it's like you're stuck in limbo, like, you know, snowball derby. It's like practice gets canceled, this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Make a decision. Here's your contingent plan. Like I feel like every track, like I said, every track should. And like I said, there's a million different things that you're probably weighing: TV, fans, teams, your availability. But it's like, I feel like when you have an event, it's like, all right, here's the contingent plan.
Yeah.
If weather's a factor, this is A. If it's a more than 50% chance of rain, here's the reschedule date. Let's save everybody from driving. I don't know. I think the hard
That's
part is
why
like
I like.
when you get in limbo like you guys, you know, you look at the radar, it doesn't look great. They come out and say we're going to try to get the show in, and then you drive down there and
World Outlaws at Sun Prairie last year.
Yep.
I know you were. I know I was. We were refreshing that page all the way. My 3 hour drive down, I kept refreshing that page, waiting for an update. We made
We
it
got
to
we
our
made it
lunch
to the
spot.
see ya. Head home.
Yep.
Yep.
So, but that's what, like I said, I mentioned earlier, like when a track or a promotion or a series comes out and says, all right, at 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, whatever, at this time, we are making a decision. And they live and die by that decision, right? But as a fan, I can appreciate that. If it doesn't rain, but we cancel the show, right? At least I know they made a decision and they're sticking to their guns.
So uh, here's the part of this too, and I think you mentioned that. Here's where I'm. As much as things are frustrating, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If you're the promoter,
It's the one of the toughest decisions you're ever gonna make.
and I don't think we don't even have a clue what goes into all of this to make an event happen. And I'm not even going to claim to even think about it for a second. But that position, track owner or track promoter, whichever one, those two together, however you want to think about it, that's a very, very thankless job that does not get enough credit in the racing world.
Yep.
And I think let's take it one step further. It gets a little bit tougher, even when you start to go to dirt and you talk rain.
Mm-hmm.
Asphalt, to a certain degree, I'm not taking anything away from them. You can dry it and run. Dirt, if it rains hard enough and then it quits, what are we going to do? Are we going to roll it in? Are we going to scrape it off?
There's only so much of it you can handle.
There's only so much you can handle before it goes, okay, well, it is what it is. Where certain asphalt tracks, you can have a swimming pool in the middle, but if the track's dry, don't catch yourself in the grass where you shouldn't be anyways.
Yep.
So I just think, as much as people nag about some of the decisions in it, as a fan, is it frustrating? Absolutely. And there's no doubt about it, but these guys know that. And I just think we have to say that, yes, one, thank you for bringing the events to us. And two, these decisions, let's just be honest, they suck having to make these decisions.
Yep.
So, yeah, as much as we nag on it, it's like You sit there and you go, well, what do you do? At the end of the day, you're never going to keep everyone happy, anyways. You know,
And that, I mean, like you said, I don't envy a track promoter, track owner that has to make that call because, like last year, Slinger Nationals, I do not want to be Travis Dassow standing on the corner looking at the track saying, going to go a couple laps here and then we're going green. And to make that call, send them green, and then, say the track isn't dry enough, we pile them all and going into one. Like, there's a lot of people that are not happy, and that's going to affect your car turnout going forward.
yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. And then
So,
I think when you get to that point and you do make a decision, then it becomes the conversation of cancel, postpone, or just outright announce your next date. Now you've made our decision. We're going to say, "Yep, we're it's rained too much. We're done for the night." I sometimes I'm a little bit eerie of the postponed because sometimes when there isn't an obvious date, the postponement turns into a canceled at a later date.
Yep.
But postponed kind of gives you the hope that there is a chance that the event can run. Now, is that going to affect your car count? Potentially. Guys might have other commitments on that said weekend, but I think that's where we up here have the benefit of everyone, for the most part, plays nice in terms of our series. That they're gonna try not to step on each other's toes. That if guys want to run, they have the ability to run said series or event on given days.
Yeah.
So
So, we kind of mentioned the Clash earlier. I did that godforsaken thing and I look at the weather. And I'm looking here, Wednesday, February 4th. Daytime. That little emoji they put, whether it's got a nice sun on it or a cloud or something like that. It's got a nice rain cloud there. Probability of precipitation, and this is Winston-Salem. 91%. Nighttime. Cold with periods of snow accumulating 1 to 3 inches. 94%.
uh, see
So,
the Clash. I'm a little less worried about the fan because it's the NASCAR series.
sure.
There,
But
you might end up running this baby like COVID style. There might be about 6 people there for all we know.
so here's my question though, too. You've already postponed it twice, and you got Daytona coming up. At what point, and this is going to be race specific, at what point do you just cancel?
It's a non-points race, anyways.
Correct. Now, again, you got sponsorships and all that stuff that's going on. You've got the benefit of being basically in North Carolina, so you could easily pack up and go home,
Yeah,
team wise.
I know
And
you're
this is
just.
all personal deal here. It's just like, well, at what point do you think you just call it?
We're starting to make the season a week longer. Where this was supposed to be go race, have a week off, get ready for Daytona. Because I hate to break it to you, those guys are going to be 8 days from unloading at the duels.
Yep.
Like
And I'll be
this,
damned if I'm going to go against Super Bowl weekend as a TV partner.
pardon my French, absolutely fucking not. But that, yeah, you've made their season a week longer. I get it. It's not. It's
Yep.
show. It's for fun. It's guys might use each other up, and it might make good TV. But like, at what point do you have to look at your crews and go, "We made this pretty miserable for our guys for a non-points race."
Yep.
Now, I did hear. I'm going to go back in the Twitter sphere a little bit here that they were potentially shipping rain tires up there.
Yep.
But at what point does it start to snow and you go, I can't race? Then what do you do?
We don't got snow tires.
Cars are unloaded, crews are there, broadcast is ready to go, the lights are on, the gates are open for fans to come in, and it starts to snow. Now what do you do? I think at that point you have to pull the pin and just be done with it.
Mm-hmm.
If it physically becomes unraceable and snow accumulates to said accumulation that we cannot race, load her up, go get ready for Daytona, boys. We don't need to drag this out any longer than it has already. I know. I just find it hard to believe that they're going to race on that little oval in the rain with the rain tires. That's just my
Yeah.
opinion on it. I don't know. I could very well be wrong in that statement, but I'll tell you what, it'd make it interesting. But I just don't know, boys. It's tomorrow or bust. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and I guess while we're talking about the Clash, the good news is whether you like it or not, delaying it has allowed us to do the first race pick of 2026, and I don't know if you. I guess before we go into that, you guys have any other final thoughts on how to? What do you do? Cancel, reschedule? Here's, I guess, what I feel like is there's a lot of interest when these decisions come into consideration. TV, drivers, teams, fans, track. Like,
Somebody ain't going to be
I
happy.
guess I was gonna say, I feel like it's a decision you just have to be at peace that not everybody's gonna be happy with the decision you make. But make the best decision you can. And as long as you stand firm on it, there's no wishy-washy going back and forth. We're gonna do this, we're gonna try this, try that. Actually, no, we're gonna go back and just do this. Like, just make a decision, give everybody the details. Here's what we're doing, here's how we're gonna do this. And everybody can do with it what they want. You want to come? We're going to try to get the show in based on weather. We're going to try to get the show in. If we can't get the show in, it's done. Or it's going to be, hey, weather doesn't look good. We're moving the show to Sunday afternoon. Can make it great. Can't make it. Here's what it is. Here's what we're doing. It's a really difficult situation. I don't envy anybody that's doing that. And it's tough. Yeah. So, yeah, if we don't have any other final thoughts on that, we're pivoting right into the Clash tomorrow or bust. We get to make our first race picks on the podcast here of 2026, and I'll let somebody else do the honors of doing the first pick.
Well, yeah, I guess, yeah. Unfortunately, I get to go first this year because I was last year. You know, I'm gonna really ruffle some feathers with this one. Give me the old 12.
God damn it.
He needs to start one spot better this year, and you not have to race the last chance, and dude will have a chance at winning this whole fucking deal.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah, you suck.
You know what? Give me the other Ford guy on that team. Give me Logano.
Yeah, that's a good pick. He went 7-4.
Mr. Short Track Racing himself.
Yeah.
Mr. Short Track Racing himself. Mr. Short Track Racing himself said in the group chat, I think I'm going to be a fan this year. Give me Denny Hamlin.
Whoa.
All right.
Finished third last year.
Denny's going to sit back in the seat, and he's going to go.
What do I got to lose?
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, any other final thoughts as we wrap this bad boy up?
NASCAR Fantasy.
Oh.
Yes. So it's not in effect for Bowman-Gray this weekend.
Correct. It does not
But
affect tomorrow. But Daytona 500, lock yourselves in for 36 weeks of war.
33 Stones
go.
Pit Crew, NASCAR Fantasy app. Again, this is third year now that we're going to be running this. Again, we had some fun last year. Yes, I didn't really have fun because I didn't win it. But no, it's a fun, interactive way to get him to be involved in the race on Sunday afternoon when you're sitting there. So, again, as always, we'll start sharing that on our socials, so you can pay attention to our socials. We'll share the league. As always, hop on in. For anybody that listens, great way for us to have some fun. So, yeah, and as always, don't be afraid to like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate all you guys that follow along with us and listen to us. And racing season is just about fully into the swing of things. So couldn't be more excited for us to start talking a lot more racing, a little less off-season topics, and full throttle ahead. So we'll catch you guys next week on another episode of Tuesday Track Talk.